Which is faster, a lightweight bike with big, deep section wheels or an aero bike with lighter climbing wheels?
It's like the eternal question for anyone buying a new bike, and we're going to answer that question once and for all with a real-world experiment.
It's time for science. Oh, and we're also going to test a lightweight bike with lightweight wheels and an aero bike with big, deep aero wheels as well. I genuinely can't wait to find out the answer.
Oh, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to this.
I don't know which way it's going to go.
Before we go any further, which setup do you think will be fastest overall? So I'll tell you what, let's have a poll. Will it be the aero bike and aero wheels, aero bike with lightweight wheels, the lightweight bike with aero wheels, or the lightweight bike with lightweight wheels? Head over to the GCN app and get voting.
I should also point out that the result we got was not the one that we were expecting, and I'm sure many of you will expect either. So we reached out to some experts and engineers, and we do have an explanation as to what we think may have happened, something which we're looking to verify in a future video. Now, we won't spoil the result for you. You can keep watching to find out what that is, but more on that later.
I'm going to outline our experiment, beginning with the equipment. So for our lightweight climbing bike, I've brought this along. It's my Canyon Ultimate CFR. Yeah, it's amazing. Just a total lightweight, pure climbing machine. The total bike is 6.3 kilograms, making it firmly UCI illegal, but they have no jurisdiction here. Now, the wheels we've put in it are the Zip 808s. These are our aero wheels that we're going to be swapping between the bikes, and they're 1,870 grams a pair. So a little bit heavy, but very, very aero, 82 millimeters deep. Oof.
And this is the aero frame, and at the moment I've got it in with the lightweight wheels, which are Zip's 303 Firecrest wheels, coming in at 1,350 grams for the pair and 40 millimeters deep. We're going to, of course, be swapping the wheels between the bikes to compare them. And in the interest of science, we're also using the same width handlebars, and we're going to be using Shimano's power meter cranks.
The Aero is over a kilogram heavier than the Ultimate, but the Ultimate is nowhere near as aerodynamic. So it'll be really interesting to see that if, when we add in these really deep aero wheels, the Ultimate can make up the aerodynamic shortfall it has, and with the lighter wheels in the more aerodynamic Aero, can that make up the weight shortfall that has? And we could have used lighter wheels for our lightweight set. We could have had some crazy 1 kilogram a pair tubulars, but we feel that most people don't use tubular wheels anymore, and certainly most of you guys watching at home probably don't use tubulars, and most bikes don't even come with them. So we felt that it was of greater value to show some lightweight clinchers.
Now, for our experiment, we're going to ride all of the setups on a special GCN test course just outside GCN Megabase. It's a 14-kilometre long lap and features a couple of climbs, some flat and a rapid downhill section. Riding this course will not only tell us which setup is the fastest overall, but also allow us to isolate the climbs, the flats and the descents to see how that setup compares on those specific sections.
First off, I'm on the aero bike and the lightweight wheels. We're going to be riding as consistently as we can, and Ollie's going to start a minute behind me and ride as consistently as he can too. Count me in, Ollie. Beep, 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 beep. Oh, he's missed his pedal.
It was a bit longer than necessary, but I thought I'd just roll with it. Been a minute. I'm going to set myself off. Beep, 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 beep. Oh, yeah.
God, it's hard not to race. I just want to race him. So we said we were going to test the lightweight bike and the aero bike in real world conditions, and that's certainly validated today. It's starting to rain hard now. We've got quite strong gusting winds to really test out our bike handling skills, as well as the ride characteristics that the bikes have got.
We're coming up to the big descent now, and again, to make this as consistent as possible, there's a point that we've marked off, and every time we hit that point we stop pedaling and we freewheel in the drops on the descent to the finish, just to make it consistent.
With the first lap of the course completed, we quickly swap over the wheels and begin lap 2.
Right, lap 2 underway. Here we go. Aero bike, aero wheels. Let's see what we got.
I'm on the steepest part of the course, and in theory, this setup should be the fastest here, but overall, this setup should be the slowest, in theory. I really want to know the answer.
Two laps done. Now time to swap the bikes.
It's amazing how light it is. I know, it's amazing. It is amazing. Beep, beep, beep. Beep, beep. Oh, there we go. This is my first time riding this bike, and I can't wait to see what the results actually say, but the perception of speed is definitely there. It feels like a rocket ship.
Halfway. All right. Ooh. How's that?
I think I hit my highest speed today, going down there on this.
Yeah? It felt quick. That does feel quick on the descent. But this is super responsive on the climb. You get out of the saddle and it's gone.
Well, you're not supposed to get out of the saddle.
Well, I've been going consistently. Lightweight bike, aero wheels, run 4, let's go.
Don't even want beeps.
No beeps.
Don't even want beeps. Now on this bit of the course where it plateaus, there's quite a bit of crosswind, and it'll be interesting to see what difference that makes, but with the deeper wheels in, you notice it. With the shallower ones, don't really notice it, to be honest.
This is a real test of self-control here. Ollie's come past me, and he's what, 30 metres in front, but I'm having to stick to my power output. I promised everyone at home that I wouldn't ride more than 250 watts on the flat, and that's what I'm doing, 250 watts. And it's so tempting to want to press on and catch him, but I've got to sit tight and hope that this combo of the lightweight bike and aero wheels comes into its own on some point on this course, and we can regain that time.
Coming up to the final descent now. This bike has definitely been faster on the flat, but will it have made enough back against the lighter bike on the climb? Can't wait to find out.
We're back at base, we've warmed up, and crucially, we've computed the results. And they're rather interesting and not at all what we were expecting. So let's reveal the results, and then after that we'll discuss why we think we're seeing the results that we're seeing. But the first thing to point out is, and something that's quite reassuring, is that the order of what was fastest and what was slowest was the same for both of us.
Yeah, that's actually pretty important from this test result, isn't it?
Yeah, it does kind of validate the testing procedure to a certain degree. Anyway, Alex, reveal the results.
The results are in, we've done the calculations, and in 4th place is lightweight bike and aero wheels.
What? I was expecting that one to be the fastest.
Well, there you go. It's in 4th place, unfortunately. Same for both of us. And in 3rd place, we've got aero bike and aero wheels.
Shut the front door.
I was hoping that would be one of the fastest, but unfortunately not. So 2nd place, we've got lightweight bike and lightweight wheels, which means in 1st place, we've got aero bike and lightweight wheels. quite a turn of events. But we need to try and rationalise these results, don't we?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, my power was really consistent. Alex, not quite as consistent. Still good, though.
Thanks.
So, but it is a source of error, and we need to acknowledge it. The other thing is that we were testing outside in real-world conditions, which is nice. It's the real world. But one of the reasons why people often test indoors and in wind tunnels and velodromes is because you eliminate those variables, and you're trying to eliminate as many variables as possible. And you probably could tell on the footage today how changeable the weather conditions were.
Very changeable.
And, you know, this can undoubtedly affect the results. And I think the other thing was it was pretty windy when we got on the top of our test loop, and that crosswind definitely felt like it was affecting the deeper wheel more, like a lot more, you could feel it, than the shallower ones.
And onto the climb, because we've isolated this section of our circuit, and quite surprisingly, the lightest weight setup compared to the Aero bike with the lightweight wheels wasn't a vast difference between it for both of us.
Yeah, they're pretty light for light, and this suggests that that the aero is still mattering at the speed that we're going up that climb, which is around 15 kilometers an hour, but to such a point that the added weight of the aero frame is being clawed back by that.
That did surprise me a little bit, actually.
It did surprise me as well. But on the descent, we see a much bigger gap. So on the descent, the aero bike is significantly quicker, and with the aero wheels, the deep wheels performed best on the descent. You know, we see significantly faster speeds, and it's just noticeably quicker.
But that is what we were kind of expecting a little.
Yeah.
So overall, when we isolate the wheels, be that whether we use the lightweight wheels or the Aero wheel set, the Aero bike does come out on top.
It does, yeah. So that's, you know, the Aero bike and the lightweight bike, both with the 40mm wheels, or the Aero bike and the lightweight, both with the deeper 82mm wheels. Yeah. Aero bike's fastest. But perhaps the biggest surprise is that pretty much across the board, the 40mm wheel in our test outperformed and was quicker than the 82mm wheel.
That's the
kind of big
me.
upset. Yeah. It's only on the descent that we saw higher speeds with the deeper wheel. And I mean, there's a number of things that could be going on here. And we mentioned before that there were the crosswinds up at the top, but I feel we need to talk about tyres.
We've got to address this.
We do.
Yeah. Now, an oversight on our part, and one that is likely to have contributed to the 303 outperforming the 808 on the flat, it is the tyres. And in our rush to get ready for this experiment, we fitted the 303 with a 28mm Pirelli P0 tubeless tyre, pumped up to 65 psi. However, on the 808, we used a 25mm Pirelli 4S winter tyre with a butyl tube that we pumped up to 90 psi.
Yeah, sorry about that. Well, we reached out to both Pirelli and Zip to see what they thought about this. And, well, Pirelli replied, telling us that the difference between the 4S winter tyre and the compound used in the P0 summer tyre was around 4 watts in rolling resistance. In addition, they reckoned that the difference between using a butyl tube and the tubeless setup was again around 3 to 4 watts in favour of the tubeless setup. And they also suggested that the 28mm P0 combined with the hookless 303 rim was a slightly superior tyre rim combination with regards to aerodynamics in the way that the tyre rim interface is on that combination. But they did say that this was a very, very small amount.
Yeah, so we've got a narrower tyre, a slower compound, and a higher pressure. Yeah, we've not done very well with that.
Zip looked at our test course, and they made the observation that the flatter section of the course was quite rough on the road surface. It was a big contrast to the climb and the descent, which was like buttery smooth, perfect tarmac. And in theory, the flat section should give an advantage to the deeper, more aero wheel, but because the road surface was pretty crap, we unwittingly gave an advantage again to the wider tyre at a lower pressure, as this was able to roll better and absorb the imperfections more than the narrower tyre pumped up to a higher pressure. And then, in addition to that, also when you look at the average speeds of our test runs, they were typically around 35 kilometres an hour, which again does start to swing it slightly towards the wider 28mm tyre and make that advantageous.
Yeah, that's right. Traffic can also have a significant impact on tests like this. So when we take into account all these sort of theories and speculations that we put out, well, we're going to go out, we're going to have to repeat the experiment again, but this time round, we're going to use the same tubeless tyres on both the wheel sets, pumped up to the same pressure, and we're just going to see what happens.
Yeah, we need to do that.
Yeah.
However, our experiment did work and give us some interesting results. It suggests that an aero frame trumps a lightweight frame overall on a rolling course, and it also suggests that even the best wheels in the world may only be as good as the tyres that you fit onto them.
Yeah, that's right. And let us know your thoughts on this down in the comments section. And if you found this video interesting, make sure and give it a big thumbs up. But rest assured, we will do that follow-up.
We will be back.